This should be fun!
Family don't end with blood.
I regret this already.
Hello? Not an idiot. See ya!
Lilu Dallas Multipass.
Give him the bits! The bits! The bits!
The things I do for love.
I will never, ever turn my back on people who need me. Bigger! Cartoons!
I'm anything but interested in you.
I anything interested in you.
Must our only options be to squawk and settle or to never leave the nest? What if I want to fly?
Miss Daphne Bridgerton.
She to breathe, Mama!
This episode contains themes of sexism and sexual assault. Please proceed with caution and fast forward about 10 minutes after you hear the trigger word.
You're dead to me, son.
I mean, that is relevant, technically.
Wait, that's right. We are discussing.
Hello. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Why should I watch that? You got our very scared interaction. Oh, this is Myra.
I'm Sam. I haven't slept. Please don't expect humor from me tonight.
And yet somehow we will get it.
You say that. You have faith.
I do.
Somewhere. I don't.
Well, I gotta make sure I talk to the mic, because...
Oh, quick thing. If you hear a little in the background, it's because we're in a different room with a heater, because it's fucking cold here.
That's what happens when you record in a basement laundry room, okay?
Sometimes you need heat. And right now, we need heat.
What is up with that picture?
Which picture?
The
one where they're lounging?
He's lounging. The other one's like, what the fuck, bro?
He's probably drunk in that scene. Hey, guys,
Probably.
you know we're not on a video, right? You have to tell them what you're talking about.
So there's a scene with Simon and
you haven't
Anthony.
even said what it is yet. Oh.
We're talking about Bridgerton.
Yeah.
The
It was
new,
quiet for too long.
The new hit, I think right now it's like still in the top 10?
I think it's definitely still on trending.
Let me see.
It is in the top 10.
Do we know
It's number 3 in the U.S. As of 1/23/2021 at exactly 8:01 p.m.
Well, I know that, what was it, last Saturday it was number 1. So it is gone down.
It keeps floating around.
Yeah, I guess it's also because it's been out now for about a month.
Mm-hmm.
It came out on Christmas Day. So it's been out for about a month. But still, for it to be in the top 10 for, I think it's been like 3 weeks now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, yay. When is it not difficult?
What are you trying to do?
Watch time.
Every now and then you remember that you like talking about watch times. And it's only sometimes that you remember. But when you do, it gives you such trouble. Didn't talk about watch times for Megamind.
No, she did.
No, I edited the episode. She didn't.
You didn't say the runtime for Megamind?
Could have sworn I did.
I thought you did.
No, she went straight into names. Got distracted by one. And then needed to repeat one. And I think that pressed reset on everything. And so she just didn't talk about it.
Well, each episode's about an hour long. So I want to say about 8 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, number of episodes, and then the final episode is usually like 15-20 minutes longer, so...
Sure.
Yeah.
Don't see why, but I guess you gotta get that final sex scene in somehow.
Oh my god. Look, the amount of unnecessary sex scenes in this show.
The entire 6th episode.
The entire 6th episode is...
It can just go. The whole thing, the whole episode can just go.
The only relevant parts are Daphne not being introduced. The only relevant parts are Daphne not being introduced to her obligations and duty as Countess.
And, like, not being explained culture.
That's what she meant.
And then...
No, like, she's not really told what to do as a Countess, and then she's also not told what the pig thing even means. That's important. Like, it's an important distinction, is what I mean.
Right.
Yes.
Alright.
Anyway, before we get into that kind of stuff...
synopsis.
Yes. So, I will be reading off the synopsis straight from Netflix.
I'm going to be read to filth.
Oh,
Yeah.
People are gonna see how thirsty I am. It's so bad.
Yeah, this is not going to be a fun episode for Myra. Sorry, bud. Okay, but reading Friends to Filth aside, I'm here. I'm going to be reading the synopses for you guys. Starting off with Season 1, Episode 1. It doesn't give me a written summary for the entire thing. So before I actually read that one off, I'm going to give you my TLDR version. People try to sell their daughters off to suitable husbands, quote unquote, in the 1800s as some form of weird-ass courtship. Hilarity ensues. That's what you get. Here's episode 1, season 1, titled Diamond of the First Water. Daphne debuts on London's marriage market as a new gossip sheet sets high Daphne debuts on London's marriage market as a new gossip sheet sets high society a Twitter, and Simon, the eligible Duke of Hastings, returns to town. Episode 2, Shock and Delight. Simon's apparent courtship of Daphne angers her brother Anthony and threatens to ruin the arrangement he's made. Marina opens up to a curious Penelope. Episode 3, Art of the Swoon. After Daphne catches the eye of a royal suitor, she turns to Simon for relationship advice. Lady Featherington tries to browbeat Marina into marriage. Episode 4, An Affair of Honor. Daphne receives a stunning gift from Prince Frederick, but soon courts scandal at a ball. Eloise searches for clues to Lady Whistledown's identity. Episode 5, The Duke and I. To fend off rumors about their garden escapade, Simon and Daphne must make a personal appeal to the Queen. Marina's wedlock scheme dismays Penelope. Episode 6, Swish. On her honeymoon, Daphne discovers just how uninformed she is about the physical aspects of the marital bed. Colin comes to a decision about Marina. Episode 7, Oceans Apart. Amid accusations of lies and betrayal, a rift forms between the newlyweds, while a deception of another kind could besmirch the Bridgerton family name. And Episode 8, After the Rain. The Duke and Duchess's season-ending ball signals a turning point for their marriage and ushers in changes of fortune and fate to those around them. And that concludes all 8 episodes of Bridgerton. That is all I have for you.
Sorry, I was keeping myself distracted. How dare. How dare. So, according to Wikipedia herself, this is in the genre of alternative history, and I can't think of a more apt genre, because we'll get there. Regency romance and period drama. Created by Chris Van Duntz. Based on Bridgerton by Julia Quinn. Starring... We just went over this. Ajoa?
I would say. I can't really see it. My guess would be Ajoa, yes.
Ajoa Ondo. Lorraine Ashbourne. Jonathan Bailey. Ruth Barker. Sabrina Bartlett. Joanna Bobin. Harriet Keynes. Bessie Carter. Nicola Coughlin? Nicola Coughlin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a lot. Oh my god, I forgot how many people were in this.
It's a true ensemble piece. Where was I?
Phoebe.
Coughlin.
Phoebe Dynevor? Phoebe Dynevor. Ruth Gimley. Gemelli? Whoa, hold on,
Gemmell.
brain. Gemmell. Ruth Gemmell. Florence Hunt. Claudia Jesse. Ben Miller. Martins. I'm Hungby?
Where?
That's the one I thought said Instagram.
I'm Hungby?
That's because I couldn't see.
Imhangbe?
In Hungbe.
It's definitely not of any European Imhambe?
Imhambe.
Something like that.
Luke Newton. Rege-Jean Page. Golda Rochevel?
Rochevel.
Something
like that.
Ruby Stokes, Luke Thompson, Will Tilston, Polly Walker, Julie Andrews. Not the Julie Andrews.
Yes, it is the Julie.
What? Oh, because she's the narrator. Okay, yep. I was like, the fuck?
You're like, where is she? I
would have remembered seeing the marvelous, unparalleled.
Ooh, stop. Hold on. My mic almost went down in an earlier round.
Those aren't words, Patrick. Composer Chris Bowers. Country of origin, the United States. Original.
Oh, really?
Yeah, who would have thought that a show full of sex?
No,
Europeans are worse than Americans. I'm sorry.
In what aspect?
No, Europeans have a different definition of, like, nudity standards.
Okay.
So, I don't know.
Europeans show everything.
Okay.
In
they
Europe,
showed butt and a little bit of boob. Europe, they show everything.
Yeah, like, in most countries outside of America, Canada-ish?
No,
'cause even
Mexico doesn't.
Okay. There's a side of the world that everyone is super conservative on, and there's a side of the world where everyone went, what the fuck, it's just our body.
Which is the more healthy mindset.
Yeah, well, you would think.
There's only one season, comprised of 8 episodes. Executive producers, Shonda Rhimes, who, if you are unfamiliar, also created Grey's Anatomy, Private Practice, How to Get Away with Murder, those shows. And you know what? It is in her style of production. What? Okay.
When it's your turn.
Betsy Beers, Chris Van Dunce, what?
You said it right at the beginning.
I did. Deucin. My brain just decided to Control-Alt-Delete.
We should have Benson in on one of these so that every time something looks Germanic in nature, he can just be like, Deutsch. Tell us the proper.
Julie Ann Robertson. Yeah, and the run times are generally 57 to 72 minutes. It was released, and you can watch it on Netflix.
It's a Netflix exclusive.
Netflix original. And it was released on Christmas. Yay. That's it.
So fun little tidbits. Obviously, it is based on a book by Julie Quinns. It's actually the Bridgerton series, which is a series of, I believe, 9 books. The first season is mostly based on the first book, which is The Duke and I. But it does also pull from the first 5 books. Each book is based on the romance of each of the Bridgerton siblings. So obviously the first one is based on Daphne's romantic relationship with the Duke, Simon, which, you know, again, why...
We have words.
We have plenty of words. I mean, the book is definitely a lot more just Simon and Daphne, so I definitely have words on how I feel about that. But it's definitely pulls from the other books, which is a good thing because it gives the story more depth. As far as fun little tidbits, I actually have notes today, people.
Oh, I'm so proud of you. Also, I'm sorry for giving you my creepiest smile.
So, someone asked why there's bees everywhere. So the bee does pop up quite a bit. It's obviously in the beginning, when you're introduced to the Bridgertons, there's a bumblebee on their door, right as they're saying the widow of the Viscount, which is Violet. So it is referencing to the death of her husband, which he died at a young age of 38 due to a bee sting. But it also represents new life and pollination or pregnancy. Yay! So I think it's like episode 7 or 8. They're talking about the fastest, or I think it's 5, one of them. They're talking about the fastest courtship that ever happened in the series, or in the, what is it?
The history of the court?
No, the history of the
season.
There we go. Was 13 minutes or something.
Oh, yeah.
So you see a bee as they're getting into the carriage to go away on their honeymoon. So speculation, since bees do also represent pollination and rebirth and new birth and everything, could be made that the lady was pregnant. There is also with the Featheringtons, you see a lot of butterflies. The mom's always has like some sort of butterfly on her. Definite Penelope, she's always has some sort of butterfly either on her dress or in her hair or somewhere. And obviously butterflies are this symbol of transformation, and you do see her sort of transform from this innocent young girl, and at the end you obviously find out that she's a little more complex than you thought she was. There's also something that they did do that I know Sam does not like, is the outfit choices. So the outfit differences between the Featheringtons and the Bridgertons is supposed to show the difference in status as well as how long they've had their titles.
Gotcha.
Because the Bridgertons are more neutral, like this more sophisticated, more already sort of old money sort of feeling. Yeah. As for the Featheringtons feel like this, you need to show off your colors, you need to show off your status. So more of a new, like, newer to their title.
So they did the Great Gatsby color coding.
Yes.
Because, well, for those who don't know, Great Gatsby himself is color coded in a lot of greens and stuff, whereas what's her face?
I can't remember her
main
name.
Bitch, Daisy.
I thought Daisy
sounds familiar.
I thought Daisy was the one that got killed.
I don't fucking know.
I don't know. The main bitch, she's color coded in like golds to represent old money versus new money. Anyway.
Yeah. So that's something.
Okay. I don't mind. We'll get into it.
Yeah, the outfits are not. The silhouette of the outfit is good. The
correct.
Outfit itself, as far as fabrics and materials used to create the outfits, are absolutely horrible.
Atrocious.
I love the show, but y'all ruined the outfits. Keep it going on.
Keep going.
Simon's outfit is actually, the reason his is a little bit different from all the other males is because he's supposed to have more of an outfit fitting with his travels and picking up from different cultures. His color coding is based on his family crest colors. So he's always in reds and golds because those are his family colors.
Which is era appropriate.
Oh, and we have in the second episode, this is something I didn't really realize till much later, watching it like 3 times. You see the word.
Wait, hold up. You've watched this 3 times?
Yes.
We're not supposed to start the read yet.
I'm sorry. Wait. I need to clarify a point, though. Us rewatching the few episodes, is that number 3 or is that number 4? From your silence, I'm going to assume it's number 4.
We are not supposed to start the read yet.
Okay. I'm done.
You will be getting read for this. This is just not the correct time.
I know! I have a problem. I am...
Go ahead.
Okay.
You are not helping yourself.
I know. So Simon, as a child, we see how brutally his dad treated him, but his tutor actually was teaching him Latin and things like that. Things that young men would learn in this time era.
Right.
So on the blackboard, the word for fighter is in Latin, sort of representing what he's going to do later on as doing boxing and things like that. Tulips are shown up a lot in the show, and that actually has to do with book 2, which is more to do with Anthony. In book... Antony? Whatever. However they fucking say it.
Listen.
So, in book 2, his mom plants a garden of tulips, which is her favorite flower. Mm-hmm. And he picks a tulip to give to the girl he's falling in love with, which is Kate. Which they're gonna do Kate such a... Whatever. So, there's a part where his mom is telling him about how she has tulips for Daphne, and maybe she can make tulips for his future bride. And then you also see a scene when he's with Sienna. In the background, you see his watch. They sort of zoom into his watch a little bit because it's such a significant thing. He inherited it from his dad. But his watch is on top of a table that has tulips on it, sort of representing his time with Sienna's ending. And lastly, Anthony references not to play with his lucky mallet, which is for a game called Pall Mall, which is an old game that sort of is like croquet that the British used to play. And that's a game that Anthony really loves, and it comes into play a lot in book 2. But that's what I have. I am currently reading book 2, so I will let you know more when season 2 comes out, because Netflix has announced that season 2 will be coming out.
Yes. And we are all very excited. Well done, everyone.
I'm excited. I don't know if Sam and Jay are.
I'll watch it.
I'll watch it.
We'll get into it.
Okay.
You'll have to tune in next time to see what we actually think.
So I know typically we do the Rotten Tomato reviews, but today we decided to put that to the end of the episode.
And we might even have something special for you guys and kind of new starting next week in accordance to the Rotten Tomatoes. So stay tuned. Something interesting might be happening with that.
Yes.
Yeah, we noticed it was taking a lot of time, and so instead of
leave it a little bit of a surprise.
It's gonna be a surprise.
No, I was just
Go ahead.
Instead of taking up valuable discussion time, we are moving it to the end, so this way we can control how much time it takes up for our episode.
Yes. With that, we open the floor for discussion.
And with the floor being actually, no, I forgot to write a thing up there. My bad. One of the themes.
Oh yes, themes.
Pencil pouch. I'm sorry.
And after the themes, I would like to bring up something first as an A plot to discussion.
Okay.
I think it fits with the series, family trauma.
Family trauma. Yeah. So there's a lot of not very complex themes. This show is kind of surface value. But there's the theme of family obligation and family life, the theme of individuality and the individual versus society and societal expectations, free will versus fate even a little bit. But yeah, that sums up a lot of the themes.
Okay.
I
So-
like that silhouette that you have right there.
Oh, thanks. It's supposed to be the main character dancing. I forgot what she looks like, so I just kind of drew a vague face.
I thought it was a person with powers.
It could be. I'm working on it. I don't know.
I don't know.
It's just here closer. It's her in a dress.
Yeah, that looks
Closer. It's just a dress. I don't know.
me peering over into your lap. It kind of looked like power hands.
We'll work on it. Okay, so as we start discussion, I'm going to request that we start off with a very simple dialogue, and it's going to be name and favorite genre of media and least favorite genre of media. Just so that we know what we're walking into, because I know that we all have words about this series and they're very different. And I want it to be known from the get-go that none of this is coming from a place of maliciousness. It's coming from a place of taste. If you offer someone who likes key lime pie chocolate, they're probably not going to be happy.
Mm-hmm.
So, without further ado, who wants to go first? Okay, so I'll start off. My name is Jay. I really like action kind of stuff, specifically like superpowers and, you know, comic themed things, and occasionally I will do like more homely stuff, but it's usually still kind of super powered in some way, shape, or form. And I cannot stand romance stories.
You have rights.
Yes, sometimes they are allowed rights, but not normally.
A lot of the times they're...
Yes. Anyway, that is we're starting this off. That's me. Next.
Hi, I'm Sam. I grew up watching Masterpiece and BBC, so I love me a good historical piece. When done correctly, holy shit, they're so fucking good. I don't know if they're my favorite, but I have a special place in my heart for good history pieces. I would probably say my favorite genre is like fantasy, but that also kind of ties in with like the whole historical period vibe. I guess least favorite is like slice of life kind of pieces where they're like, oh, let's just watch this person go about their totally ordinary life. Like, I think right now there's a thing on BBC or not BBC, Masterpiece, where it's like, let's follow around this vet as he goes about his daily life and falls in love with the person that they've already
Just give me the
Oh,
bed.
like that fucking Canadian show?
No, it's called. I think it's called Creatures Great and Small.
No, but there's a Canadian show like that, but it's sort of a period piece, but it's you follow a teacher on her day to day while she's falling in love with a fucking Mountie.
With the obvious, love interest that gets planted from like episode 1.
Yes.
Can't stand those. They're boring. I guess that's also a romance. So
it's tied romance.
But I mean, there's
You can have
different
a slice,
kinds of.
yeah. You can have a slice of life without romance. So if it's the monotony that you don't like, I would lump that by itself.
Slice of life. Yeah, that's my tastes.
I'm Myra. I'm going to be read to filth in this episode. I know it. I am a sucker for a frickin' love story. I am. I'm thirsty. I'm sorry. I love. What's the Cinderella? The Roger and Hammerstein. I love love.
Okay.
You have rights.
I
mean, personally, I can't stand Roger and Hammerstein Cinderella unless it's the Brandy version.
Okay, that one is
Chef's
beautiful.
kiss.
Like that's the only one I stand.
Okay.
Okay, good. I don't know the difference, but it
No,
sounds
the
good.
other one
Because
sucks.
Julie Andrews did one, and
Okay.
I love her. But I'm sorry.
No, it's true. It's true. I agree 100% with you. So don't get me wrong. But don't get me wrong. I love a good love story, but give me some action, give me some sword fights, give me some gun fights, I am a sucker for anything that's interesting that will catch my eye. I love it. I really am not super, super picky. You know what I hate?
What do you hate, Myra?
I hate gang movies.
Gang movies. Okay.
I freaking hate them. Anything to do with drugs or gangs, I'm sorry, except for Man on Fire. That one was actually pretty good. Denzel,
Sure.
you did some good shit. But
Are you afraid of seeing your dad in there? I had to. I'm sorry.
I know you had to. No. The thing is, my dad literally forced gang movies down our fucking throats as a child. Do you understand watching Blood In, Blood Out as an 8-year-old is fucking terrifying?
Hey, look at that. Family trauma.
Yeah. American... What is it called? American Gangster.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't get me wrong, The
Reservoir
Godfather...
Dogs?
Like, all of the...
Is that the name of the movie?
I don't know what the
Reservoir?
fuck...
I don't know what that is. So, don't look at me.
There's gang movies. I can't do it. I'll
fair.
sit through it like once in a while, but I can't.
Okay. So, the reason that I wanted us to do this first and foremost is so that the audience knows that when one of us says a thing, it's not meant as an attack. It's meant as we're already eating a pie that we don't like, and now we have words. So, if I say something mean, just know that it's not directed at you. It's just, this is not my favorite flavor of pie.
This is my
and
favorite.
I would not have put it on my plate had it not been recommended.
Listen.
This is my favorite of pie.
So
I will eat this shit up all day.
So please don't get mad. I'm trying very hard to not be like, and I'm sure at some point we will have, this is going to be a good reference point for a lot of things. I'm sure at some point someone's probably going to reference something that's like gangy, and we're going to have to watch it, and my mother's probably going to hate it. Yeah. And I know that some of the anime I have on my list are slice of lifey.
Yeah.
Your sports
Some of-
animes,
they're
so
so
worried
good,
about
fuck
it.
off!
The sports animes are so good. I don't understand why you're so upset about these.
I'm not upset, I'm just apprehensive.
Yeah,
Okay,
so,
that's fair.
So the point is, we all have things on our list that are not our favorite flavor of pie. So please don't take our words the wrong way.
Yes.
Okay. That's all.
I mean, like I said earlier, I knew from the get-go, from watching this show, before I even brought it up to the group, I knew that Sam may like some aspects of it because she does enjoy period pieces.
There is nothing sexier than a sword underneath the chin, folks.
Yes.
I'm just gonna say it.
But I watching this show.
Don't look at me in that tone of voice.
But watching this show from like the first episode, I watched it. I was like, Jay's gonna hate this shit. Jay's just gonna hate it. This is not Jay's style. This is not something that Jay would purposely sit and watch.
It's not. I told my mom I was watching it, and she went, "Isn't that a romance?" And I went, "Yeah." And she went, "Why the fuck are you watching that in less words?" And I went, "It's for a podcast."
For context, Myra, we sit down to record the Megamind episode. We're gathering, we're doing our pre-episode rituals and such, and Myra bursts into the room going, "Guys, I need to propose something." And we're like,
I did not burst into the room.
I
did not burst into the room.
Going, "Guys, I need to bump something off the list." And we're like, "Oh,
Up the list.
or up the list, and remove something dearly beloved to me off the list." And we both went, "Oh no, what?"
I know, because the show
I was so excited too. The one we were going with, I wanted to watch for so long.
I was excited.
It's still on the list, though. We just bumped it down a little bit.
Yeah, but like I wanted it now.
And so she's like, "We have to watch this show. It's so good." And we went, "Oh?" And she went, "Yes, it's a period romance." And both of us went, "Oh." Because Myra, she loves a good soap opera.
Oh my god, I do. Oh my... Jesus Christ.
So
Okay.
my definition of a soap opera is Scrubs.
Okay, let me explain. I am Hispanic. Okay? I am
rights.
Mexican. If you know any Mexican woman, since you were 5 years old, your mother has been watching soap operas. And I don't mean like General Hospital and whatever the shit that Americans call soap operas. I'm sorry.
Gasps in Spanish.
If you come and tell me you watch a soap opera and you tell me it's General Hospital, that's garbage.
Okay, Myra. Okay.
It's literal garbage.
I wouldn't know.
They recycle characters to no shit. He died, he didn't die, he was in a coma, he was not in a coma. Oh my god, it's his twin brother that came back from the dead and he's evil.
Okay. Can we talk about Bridgerton?
Oh, sorry. But
Go ahead.
the reason I'm bringing this up is because I do like a good soap opera. I'm never going to force you guys to watch a soap opera just because one soap opera can be up to 150 episodes. Gasps. The one that my mom is currently watching on YouTube is 95.
Okay. No.
Yes. So I'm never going to...
No.
And I'm saying yes, I'm never going to make you watch one.
Good.
So let's start
I'll watch
off the discussion.
You'll watch Korean ones, though. They're 15
K-dramas
episodes.
have rights. I don't really like them, but I will sit through one because at least I can kind of think about the language and go, I can say
So, shall we start with a discussion of the plot before we tear the costumes to shreds?
Let's start with the I think we should start with the production and then go into the show.
Okay.
Yeah, because
So-
we kind of gave a synopsis of the show when I read it off.
Sure.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and go into the production, and we'll go into the actual. You can shred the show apart and eat me alive.
Okay,
It's okay.
excellent. I'm not mad at the brighter color palette. I think the brighter color palette is a very solid way to bring it into a more modern audience. However,
The fabric choice.
the fabric. Okay, and I realize this is in a dream sequence, but the tooling as an outer layer that happens more than once in the show.
It
like
does.
the first time I think it happens is in Daphne's dream sequence where she's having the romantic moment with Simon where he dips her, which isn't a thing yet. At least not in polite English society.
Maybe she invented it.
It's a dream, honey.
I'm mad about it. Anyway, tooling.
She wants more touch.
She's extremely touch-starved, yes. Tulle as a fabric was considered scandalous in a similar way that spandex is considered kind of sexy and racy today.
Is it?
I mean, in the circle's equivalent to today.
Yeah, I guess.
So if you're looking at polite upper society,
They're not gonna wear spandex.
they're not
jeans.
wearing spandex, they're not wearing, rubber latex, that kind of fabric.
They're not wearing the shit we would wear.
Right. And it's because tulle was mostly used for ballet skirts, whether it was the classical romantic tutus or the more what you would think of as traditional stiff tutus. But because you could see the ankles of the ballet dancers, it was the equivalent of pole dancing for them. So, the fact that we see tooling multiple times as an outer layer is just so wrong!
Well, personally, I just don't think the design the costume design. That's what I was trying to go for. The people who did the costume design were. I know what they were trying to do, especially between the Bridgertons and the Featheringtons. The color differences, the color coding, and trying to make them pop, which is great.
I'm a slut for color coding.
But I don't think they did enough research on how the materials affected society.
I would have to categorically say they didn't, because there's a scene where Daphne's getting ready for a ball, of which there are many, but she's putting on a glove. Now, for those who know, gloves at this time period had two buttons. There was one slightly above the wrist, so you could pull it off to eat. And there was one at the, top of the upper arm, right kind of below where the shoulder connects to the, where the arm connects to the shoulder. And that was to cinch it to the upper arm. She just slides that shit on like it's a nylon glove, and it probably is.
It is a nylon glove, because you can see the fabric.
And it would have been made out of silk or something. And that just wouldn't have been used. That fabric didn't exist yet. And then the Featheringtons, I'm gonna talk about the Featheringtons for
Oh
a
no,
second.
their outfits.
The fact that the mother wears floral print on a regular basis is so...
print impolite?
It's not period appropriate. She basically would have been wearing...
Isn't floral print more of like the 20th century? More common?
Floral print didn't come into common practice now. I may be wrong on this, but especially the floral print that she's shown wearing, she's basically wearing curtains.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that didn't become outfit, like, for the outfits till, like, the 20th century, right?
Right. That, as far as I know. And I'm not a historical costumer or anything.
Neither am I.
But I've seen enough BBC productions, and I've been in enough ballets and plays to have a kind of idea of what's going on.
No. And
a layman's idea.
As far as the costuming goes, I agree with you. I've seen enough period pieces. I've seen enough things like that I'm like, the silhouettes are there.
The silhouettes are correct.
I'm not gonna hate the silhouettes because they're there. They did them properly. They did them justice.
Except
with
Daphne.
With Daphne. You and I are on point on this. They did not, and I agree with you, they forgot to totally cover her boobs during the day.
Her titties are out all of the time. And that's not to say that the Regency era didn't have titties out.
They did.
They did. They totally did.
The only one that really has her boobs covered is Eloise.
Eloise and the mom.
No, well, yeah.
The moms have, well, no. The Featherington mom has her
Does
titties
not.
out
There you
all
go.
the time. But Daphne's mom wears, the traditional high collar. And
Daphne's mom did not. I disagree.
During the wedding scene, she didn't.
Oh, sure.
But she...
No. When she goes to talk to what's-her-name about the birds and the bees...
That's the wedding scene.
That's the after-party scene.
Yeah, but she still has her boobs out because it's after the wedding.
I didn't realize we were allowed to have boobs out during weddings. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to a Mexican wedding? Ooh.
Remember, my mom is half Puerto Rican, half Arabic, and 100% white. I ain't been to shit.
I'm taking you to a Mexican wedding when we go to Mexico.
Those are spicy.
Please don't.
You're gonna see boob and butt out.
I don't want to see either of those things.
That's a lot. Anyway. They totally ignored the fact that these motherfuckers were changing every 3 hours. They just ignored that.
Yeah, they kept wearing the same the only one that changed outfits like between morning and night was Daphne.
Because there was... Okay, so here's the TLDR. High society had multiple dress changes depending on your time of day.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that during this period of time, also clothing were very expensive.
Yes.
So you would recycle dresses. So there's a scene where the Featheringtons are like, we gotta get new dresses. They wouldn't have done that. They would have recycled the same dresses that they had, but
correct.
Accessorize them differently.
So what was very commonplace, especially for an affluent family on a budget, they would have taken the base of the base of a dress and given it like essentially a different overlay.
Yeah.
Because there was like the
because you have a base, then you have an overlay, and then you have like the jewelry and accessories.
Right. And so it was a lot cheaper to get like, it basically acted as like a jacket for the dress. It was like but it wasn't like actually warm or anything.
Yeah.
And it was a lot cheaper to get those done or add some lace, simply alter the dress that you had than to get a whole new dress. And that was a lot more commonplace than getting a brand new dress. Now, of course, for something like you're presenting to the queen, you would obviously have a new dress because that was a big fucking deal.
Yes.
However, these ladies would not have been in pure white like they are shown in the show. At most, they would have been in like a cream, A, because it's not their wedding day, and B, it wasn't appropriate for them to be in dead white. Like,
it would have gotten super dirty too, because I mean, at the time the streets were they were cobblestone streets, and by the time you got towards the palace, it would have been mud.
Well, affluent families would have had carriages.
Yes, but even if you have a carriage traveling between trying to get through your front door to your carriage.
Right. I think an example of a period piece that had a brighter color palette that did it well was Emma. And that is the newer version, and I'm talking about the newer version of the Jane Austen novel,
Yeah.
Emma.
I have
Now,
not seen the movie, but
I've seen a lot of screenshots of it. And
I've seen
while
screenshots, too.
I didn't care for the brighter color palette, I think they did it very well. Because, hey, remember, dyes are really expensive in this time period. We haven't developed artificial dyes yet. We're just starting to figure out, like, more colors. And there's a scene where somebody's in purple, and they're not supposed to be in purple, because...
Daphne.
Is it Daphne? Is she in the royal purple? There's a royal purple. Like, it's a dead, like, traditional gems...
Your phone's talking to you.
I didn't ask you. Where is it?
No one asked.
I think it's I know that the Bridgerton's color scheme, it's more it's purples and grays and silvers. That's their color scheme.
Anyway, they wouldn't have been wearing that because that's reserved as a royal color.
That couldn't be why it's called royal purple, would it?
Oh, how could you? What a clever person you are.
But I agree with you that no, you know who it is? It's the Capers girl. Cassida?
Who the fuck is she? I'm sorry, there's so many people in the show.
The Nest girl? The one that has the hair like the Ice Queen?
Oh, that bitch, yeah. She's not supposed to be in purple. Her and her mom show up in purple, I think.
Yeah, but I think at that point she thought for sure she was gonna be the princess's girlfriend or whatever. And then Daphne goes in and goes, bitch, no.
I wrote down the BBC only has 5 sets, and I think that's still true because there's a scene where it looks like the exact same tunnel that they use in The Crown for a few scenes.
Yes.
That, like, royal... I was like, that I've seen you before.
That actually, there's a couple sets that they reused. They used for Emma. They used for The Crown. They used it for one of the other Jane Austen, Pride and Prejudice movies. So they did reuse a lot of sets that they've used in those past films.
I knew it. But yeah, that's the basic vibe of the costumes. I fucking hated it. But the silhouettes were right, kind of.
Most of the silhouettes were right.
I liked the men's costumes better than I liked the women's costumes, and that's saying something.
Because they didn't do the women's costumes justice. They really didn't.
And, like...
They could have done a lot better, and I think...
I wrote the sleeves are wrong, but I don't know if that's for women or men or who...
Probably both.
Probably both.
But, I mean, I think the issue with the costuming, they did want to do it where it still felt very contemporary and very modern. And I get what they were trying to go with that because they're trying to attract the modern eye. But you can do a period piece with brighter colors and keep the fabrics that would naturally be found at this time and not make it look like it's... Like you used the wrong fabric. Like, if you used the right fabric, you could have still gotten the same look.
Yeah.
Although I would disagree with you on the scene for the dream. I think using tooling on the outside is appropriate. And the only reason I say that, for that particular scene only.
Okay.
Because at this point, it's a dream. She's touch deprived. And she's thirsty. She is thirsty for this man.
You said tooling is supposed to be like harlotty, right?
Yeah, it's basically...
In that dream, she feels pretty harlotty.
That's fair.
It's like if you had a crush on someone, you would dream of yourself dressing in this like super sultry, like, ooh woo, look at me.
Sort
but,
of like
you would never do that in real life.
Exactly.
That's fair. Okay, that's fair. However, I have words about the ballroom in the 4th episode where they're basically at the equivalent of a Regency strip club.
Yes.
Because the contortionists are in contortionist appropriate clothing to do their jobs. However,
They're showing their ankles.
they're showing everything. There's no like little skirts, there's no nothing.
I thought that was with the queen, though, the contortionist.
No, but there's like the hoop contortionist.
Oh, right.
There's also this scene where the girl, there's a girl singing, and she's basically in a she's
basically
in
a
a bathing suit.
leotard.
Yeah, a leotard.
Yeah, she's in a leotard covered by a corset with like a little of a skirt, a little.
Yeah, that I knew that was wrong because that would not be appropriate. Period in polite society.
In polite society, I was gonna say, those kind of balls definitely happened. However, they were considered risque. They were much more likely to happen at like
the art club.
The art club. Okay, I want to transition into that next. But at like a young man's, let's get you
a stag party.
A stag party. There we go. Thank you. But yeah. Bottom line, they didn't do the research. They could have done better with trying to modernize the costume set.
One thing I do want to applaud them for, because I know in history this has been a debate about Queen Charlotte. The fact that a lot of people are like, was she mixed? Was she black? Was she white? Like, is she of African descent? That's something that's always been questioned throughout history.
Okay.
So I think it was good that they actually chose an actress that was African American. Or no, she's actually African British, I believe.
Oh.
She's a British actress. So she's a British actress of color. I guess is the best. I don't want to be like racist.
Some people prefer saying just black. Some people prefer person of color. So,
we are trying to be
as inclusive as possible.
Yes.
So I think in America I have heard more people prefer black in recent memory. Go with whatever you're comfortable with.
Yeah, go.
Well, she's a black actress, and they chose her to be the queen specifically because there is that historical debate if she was of African descent or not.
See, I didn't know that. That's very cool.
And actually, if you look at her portrait, she does look like she's of African descent. I don't know if it's true. If you know more of the British royal history, please let me know.
See, I wouldn't be surprised, especially because history is so whitewashed. If they were like, no!
Because I think I saw, I don't know if it was in a more recent movie. What was it? A Hallmark movie. They did the Meghan Markle and the Prince Harry movie.
Oh.
Yeah, their royal engagement. And there's a scene where supposedly, again, this is a movie, so I'm getting it
Hallmark.
From Hallmark, so I'm getting this not based on actual fact.
Source.
Thank you. Not a non-reliable source. But they have a portrait of Queen Charlotte, and supposedly Queen Elizabeth is telling Meghan Markle that she had an ancestor who is of African origin.
Neat.
So I don't know if it's true that she is. If you look at her portraits, she does look of African origin. I would have to
have
the wider nose.
The wider and base.
Oh, let me see if I can pull up a picture for you.
Anyway, let's get into something Jay can get involved in. She does.
Sorry, I don't know shit about.
So this is the actual Queen Charlotte. So she definitely has more African features.
Yeah, and paint also deteriorates over time, so there's a total chance.
And there is also a chance that the artist chose to paint her in a lighter skin tone than she may have actually been.
Also, fucking the person who found the picture could have done it. Like, oh, something's wrong with the picture. I'll just fix it. Because that's what they did with all of the statues in Greece. They were originally painted.
Yeah.
And a bunch of Europeans, I guess, I don't
decided
remember.
It was ugly.
No, they went and they were like, neat. Get rid of that shit, though. And so they pressure washed all the paint off of the sculptures.
Anyway, one thing that the show did get right is the intimacy.
Oh, are you looking something up about that thing we were just talking about? Okay.
Oh, I'm
Give
sorry.
me a minute. No, you're fine.
I'm looking up if it says something about her origins.
Where is she from?
Yeah, well, it says that her father is actually German. Her father was a duke. Duke Charles Louis Frederick of Mecklenburg, Prince of Miro.
Ben's gonna murder you.
Yep. And her mother was Princess Elizabeth Albertine of Saxe-Helberg. No, I'm not gonna pronounce that right. That's the
Princess Elizabeth of Albertine of Saxon Hildenburg? Hilburgishassen. Ben will also murder me. I don't know why I tried to pronounce it.
Where is it?
It's,
I got it. Hildburghausen.
Hildburghausen.
There you go.
Hildburg.
Hildburghausen.
It just says that she was born. She was born in Germany. So I'm not exactly sure if maybe her parents had some. Her dad's definitely white. Sorry.
So. Oh, I'm sorry. Are you?
You can. Yeah. The rest of. I was trying to see if I could get some of her family history, but the rest of her family history is very vague. So I don't know. If you are more of a scholarly person and knows more of that, please let us know. But
Tweet at us.
Yeah, give us some sources.
One thing they did get right, even though the soundtrack is very jarring and
oh god, yes.
The one thing I super like. Okay, I do not like romances. I don't like slow burns. I don't like anything that this thing had to offer. However, I would have forgiven all of it and shut my fucking mouth had the violinists been allowed to play anything other than covers of songs from today.
Yeah, the fact that I had to watch bad Regency dancing to Thank You Next set to a violin was so jarring and broke the submersion so terribly that
I wish they would have chosen because you can make classical music so beautiful. I get the fact that they were trying to attract a younger generation.
The Queen references Mozart.
Exactly.
Multiple times.
Exactly. Like I'm saying, you could have you have this opening for beautiful, amazing works of art written in place for this time era. I mean, I get it. They're trying to attract a younger generation to enjoy the show as well. But we can't forget that younger generation needs to learn about classical music too. Because I'm sorry, if we forget about classical music, we forget part of our roots. I mean, Mozart, Beethoven, those are great musicians.
Screw that. Some young people are going to go to college for this shit. There are young people that are going to go to college for classical music. There are young people who care about looking into history like this. Like, I understand that they were looking for the, like, I guess, quote-unquote, basic bitches to get into this, but, like, you're only gonna hurt yourself by targeting one mass group audience.
Am I a basic bitch then?
No, for younger kids.
Oh, okay.
You're just a simp.
You're a simp. And, like...
A lovable simp.
You didn't like the fact that they used the music
No,
either.
I mean, I get why they used it. I would have preferred, honestly, to listen to some Beethoven or Mozart. Or even
original
creations.
Yep.
I think it would have benefited a lot better of having original creations. I mean, fuck, look at Hans Zimmer. The man has created so much beautiful scores for artistic movies, and you could have used that as an example.
Right, and I even think, like, a good way to, a really good example of a modern, kind of more classical score, I want to say is Wonder Woman. Because you have this electric cello just...
Oh, that was a beautiful...
Absolutely just tearing it up, and, like... Oh, it's so good!
I mean, I'm sorry, but even, like, fucking... Lindsay Sterling.
Yeah.
Lindsay Sterling does...
Oh my god.
Beautiful work.
Original compositions.
Original compositions that are classical in sound, but they are so beautifully done. I mean,
and rich and modern. And
yes.
Plus... Go ahead.
She's actually, just putting out there, she just came out with a new album.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I haven't heard it yet, but I did see. Also, there is such a surplus of artists right now via the internet. There has to be a new and budding Lindsay Sterling out there that would have,
I mean,
been
TikTok
perfect.
is full of them.
Yeah, like
yes.
there are more than enough creators now for them to have been able to be like, hey, dude with 8.6 million followers that I've never heard of, show me what you can give to this.
But and even if you didn't want to do that, if you wanted to bring in someone that's well known, I mean, you have so many well known people. Because I mean, they did use an orchestra that does this for a living. Mm-hmm. They take modern pieces and put them into classical music, which is great, and it's a thing that people enjoy, which I'm not gonna hate, because there are people that like this genre of music.
I don't dislike this genre of music.
Yeah,
I just don't think
I
don't think it was appropriate for the show.
Yeah,
it broke.
It was not
submersion. It was jarring. It was a bad choice.
Now to the show.
So overall for the show, I am not a huge fan of using miscommunication as a plot device, and this, I know, we already talked about it. I'm eating a piece of your pie, even though it's not my favorite pie.
No, I agree with.
Okay.
I did not like the fact that they did not talk to each other
for 4 episodes.
Honestly, I cannot, off the top of my head, think of a single relationship in that show that was not hindered by lack of conversation.
Yes.
I think the most emotionally intelligent person in that show was Eloise.
She had the most open...
And she tried to have emotional, open communication especially with her best friend Penelope. But then Penelope's like, I don't want to talk to you.
Penelope got into this very much of a mindset of, I just want to talk about marriage. That is my life right now. I think that the show hindered on taking out a lot of the open communication that Daphne and Simon had in the book. Because in the show, they really they fell in love over talking about balls. But...
Well, I think...
Because the first 2 episodes, she's like, okay, but you gotta come to 3 different balls with me, and why did you hit him? And then we have to do this so this guy doesn't fall in love with me.
No. I think he doesn't really fall in love with her in that moment. He falls in love with her as he watches her start to have her own autonomy within society. Because there's this moment where she's actually really thriving, and she's, like, chatting with the prince and being all like, oh, I'm a successful young adult, look at me. And the cinematography in this show is pretty decent. And they cut to Daphne dazzling the room, being the diamond of the season. And he cuts away, and he's standing with his, like, godmother figure. And the look on his face is, oh no, I've caught feelings.
Yes, but no, at this point, they still have not had a proper conversation. Because they start having proper conversations after that point in the show. I've watched it 3 times, trust me.
Okay,
Trust me, at this point is when It's after she escapes having to be forced to be married with the ugly guy.
There are so many ugly guys.
The beat up guy.
Yeah.
So
also, props to her for punching her potential.
Which I gotta admit, I like the way they set it up in the show, but I think it's a lot better than the way that they set it up in the book, because the way they set it up in the book, that's literally the opening scene.
Oh, her almost getting assaulted in the garden?
She's not in a garden; she's in a hallway.
Same idea.
Same idea, but I think the way the book opens up, you really get into this mindset of knowing Simon. The book opens up with the dad wanting a son. Like, the whole time they're talking, the dad wanting a son. He has his son. He literally has his son, takes his son away from it. Literally the way it happens in the show. He's born, he takes him away from the mom. The mom never gets to touch her son. She takes him out to the hallway, tells everybody I have a son. He's about to walk out of the house with the newborn, and then the servants go, "Sir, he could catch a cold." And he's like, "Oh, you're right." Goes back in, his wife is dead.
Gotta love great parents.
So, she never gets to see her son. She never gets to touch her son, which I think is fucked up, for starters. And then he literally does everything that the show shows he does. He leaves his son alone. Comes back when he's 2. He's barely talking, but a 2-year-old can barely talk.
Right.
To begin with. And he's expecting him to have full sentences.
Why?
Because he's an asshole.
Obviously someone didn't read developmental theory.
And so when he's not talking properly, he calls him an idiot and starts saying he's awful. He's not... Comes back when he's 4 years old.
Kid has a stutter. But I wouldn't blame Simon for having a stutter, because when your dad calls you a fucking idiot and a worthless piece of shit... At tender age of
2, and then abandons you completely, and he starts working super hard. The reason he starts breaking the stemmer is because he wants to prove his dad wrong.
Spite.
He wants, and this is what leads him to not wanting children, because he continues to try to prove his dad wrong. It doesn't go into it in the show, but he ends up going into, like, the best school for gentlemen, like, I guess, boarding school.
Yeah. There's definitely, at this era, a couple of different boarding schools. I don't know them off the top of my head, because that's not really relevant.
Yeah. He went to, I guess, I don't know what time, I don't know what age young men go to boarding school.
It depends on how early the family wants to send them away. Generally, it's anywhere from, like, age 10-ish.
Well, whenever it's appropriate for him to go into boarding school, he tricks the headmaster into letting him in because his dad doesn't think he's worthy into going into boarding school. So
fuck.
Yeah, he tricks the headmaster to letting him into the school because he says, "My paperwork must have gotten lost. My father really wants me to come to this school." And his father is paying for it eventually because he starts getting the grades and he's like, "What the fuck?" But he's a straight A student. He's perfect.
Yeah, that's one thing that the show actually did a pretty decent job at showing of, like, this, we don't get the same kind of timeline as the book, but we see him at, like, I want to say age 4-ish, age 5, and he's already has the stammer, and I could assume that's also from, parental neglect. And his tutor, to her credit, is trying to be as affectionate as appropriate for a woman of her era. And she's like, "He's very smart, sir. Like, he's got his letters. He's already working on sentences, and, like, you can see his handwriting is immaculate for a 4-year-old."
Yeah.
But he's like, "Well, he's an idiot," and it's like, "You're a bad dad." Fucking endeavor.
Yeah, and he's yeah. I mean, and I think that's something that I did not like of the show, that they did take away a lot of the effect that stemmer had on his development, because it even talks about the fact that in school a lot of people thought he was a snob because he didn't talk a lot. He only talked to certain people, which was one of them just happened to be Anthony. He got really close to Anthony because they were friends from school.
Yeah.
And he only had a few people he would talk to because he felt comfortable enough to be around them, and when he was comfortable enough to be around them, he didn't stammer. So he would hold his tongue, and everybody thought he was high and mighty because of that.
The show did Simon so dirty. I'm starting to think that if you name your character Simon, it's just a curse for any production thereafter for that character.
I think so too.
Like, if you want your character to have any sort of justice in the representation in the media beyond your book, don't name them Simon. It's hot.
Turn it off.
Sorry. My eyes are like getting dry from it.
Yeah, there you go. But I think that they did him dirty. As far as the show itself, I really enjoyed it. I did enjoy the fact that they pulled from all the first 5 books so that you didn't just see Simon and Daphne. You saw a little bit of Anthony.
God, that would be insufferable.
Yes, exactly. You saw a little bit of Anthony. You saw a little bit of Benedict, Colin, even Eloise. You got to see their personally, Eloise is my favorite character. She was amazing.
She's queer-coded as fuck.
Oh, yes. I agree with you. I wish she would end up with Penelope. I know it's not happening.
Credits to Jay.
Yes.
I have thoughts.
If you have fans out there, fanfic,
where you
send it to me, please.
Those two, fucking, I don't know. Look, okay, I'm gonna. Side note: you might have noticed I've been really quiet this episode. That's because 1, I don't got much to say about the outfits, and 2, I can't tell the fucking characters apart. Okay. 3, the few that I can tell apart, I don't know their names.
Well, tell me what they look like, and I can tell you.
No, it's chill. It's chill. Girl who's really wanting to find out whatever her name is. Eloise, and her
best friend,
her Weasley friend,
Penelope.
Those two, yes. They have rights, and the first time I saw them, I deadass thought that they were going to run away together. Eloise was going to cut her hair and pretend to be a dude, and they were going to go trapeze off to learn stuff in colleges around the world.
See, that fits Eloise so much, though, because she does not want to be trapped by marriage.
She's literally already talking about, like, I just want to be a man, guys. I just want to do manly things and go to university and, like, have a career.
The whole conversation she has with Benedict on the swing in the backyard.
Those two, I love their vibe. Their vibes are good.
Yes. But the whole conversation, she goes, "You're a man. The world is open to you. You can have what..." And my dad's pulling in.
His car is so loud. It, like, kind of almost hurt. Like, the vibrations are...
I didn't hear shit.
If it's not my dad, it's the person across the street.
Hello, beloved listeners. Jay is deaf.
Jay is not deaf. Jay knows nothing.
How did you not feel that, though?
I didn't feel or hear anything. I don't know what you want me to say. That I heard.
My dad. It was my dad.
I was just gonna pause the discussion until people were settled.
The stomping of the dogs. That's the only other problem with this one room, because you can hear everything that goes on upstairs. And people walking up and down the stairs in the front yard, because the stairs are right next to the room. But with that being said, I think Eloise makes such a good point that at this point in time in history, and even Daphne, when she's talking to Anthony, she's like, "Look, you can do whatever you want. I have one job in this family, one job alone, and it's to find a husband. That's all I've been raised for. I don't have anything else. So stop getting in my way." And she has a valid point, because even in the book, Simon points out to her that the reason that men are not really just not flocking to her is not because she's not pretty or because she's not accomplished. It's because her brothers are scaring the shit out of people.
Yeah, because she's surrounded by a bunch of also eligible bachelors who are ready to throw hands at literally everyone for no good goddamn reason.
Anthony's an asshole. To every guy that gets near Daphne.
I cannot stand Anthony. He is a raging asshole. He literally almost ruins Daphne's attempt at a good life.
Yeah.
For no reason, because he's like, I need to protect you. And he's an overprotected big brother to the point where it's not endearing anymore.
But like, can you blame him? Their dad is dead, and he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing.
So he had to take over his dad's role at 18. He had to be the man of the house.
Correct me if I'm wrong. She's the first daughter to come of age.
Yes.
He doesn't know what the fuck he's doing.
And
he himself hasn't even found a spouse to wed. So he has not been through the very thing he's pushing her through.
I still don't like him.
That's fine. I don't care.
Did I turn on the dryer?
I don't know. You left and did something to it. I hope you did.
We can pause?
Yeah, I'm gonna pause real quick.
Hey guys, just me again. Real quick updates. Thank you for everyone who saw our posts on Instagram. We didn't get a lot of guesses this week, but we definitely got a lot of likes. So hello, newbies. Feel free to guess on any of the posts, and if you get it right, I'll shout your Instagram handle out on air. And if you get it wrong and you got a really funny answer, maybe I'll call that out too. Unfortunately, we had a little bit of a hiccup and didn't post it to any of our other socials, but we did post it where it matters, apparently, I guess. I'm just trying to make a good thing out of it. I don't really have a lot of housekeeping for you guys. We are reorganizing the show a little bit, so Rotten Tomatoes is going to move around, and we've got a super cool surprise coming in for anyone who's particularly a big fan of the Rotten Tomatoes. So tune in next week to see what that is. Don't forget to listen in at the end of the podcast for the hint, and make sure to follow us on all the socials. Instagram is wsiwtpodcast. Twitter should be roughly the same. Might actually be it's the same. We're also on Facebook. Why should I watch that on Facebook? You know, I'm really just here to pimp it out today, I guess. So don't forget to follow us, like, comment, share if you want. I'm not going to force you. But if you think you know, really what we're trying to do is get people guessing more. So if you think you know, or if you even want to try and guess, I got all these brownie points that I bought ahead of time. So let me give them out. Let me give you a brownie point. I'd appreciate it. Hope you guys have a good day. Stay safe.
I know I put the clothes in the dryer, but did I turn it on? So fucking
I don't remember what his hair looks like, so I'm just guessing.
Slime it?
Whatever.
It's mostly round.
Sure. All I remember is that you stumbled.
I did.
Okay, good.
I'm an idiot. I'm sorry. I was like...
Head empty.
Yeah, I don't know why it just hit me. Okay, where were you? Anthony.
Hold on. Before we actually start back up, I want to show this off so I can put it away. His hand isn't done, but I'm fucking over it. Just gonna move him over. I said grab. Okay. So I basically drew the two of them gallivanting around.
Oh, they're so cute.
Yeah, she looks creepy. I don't know how to fix it. I'm giving up.
You'll fix it later.
I will not. I will be deleting it.
Okay.
This was to distract myself and then became
an obsession.
So
Hyper focus.
He has this mentality of being an overprotective brother, and even the mom goes, you have to stop being her brother and start being the man of this house. You can't be the overprotective brother and be the man of the house. Because you're ruining her life.
Yeah. And how he treats the opera singer. Sienna? Serena?
Yes, Sienna.
Sienna?
Wait, it's him that does that? I thought that was the younger one.
Nope.
Oop.
That poor opera singer. I mean, in the book, she only has 5 pages.
Okay.
5 pages.
I'm not mad that they added characters.
No, because
I kind of am. Their cast is a little too big.
they added the prince and the queen as a little bit of things to move the story along, which I guess is fine. And I love that they added Lady Danbury.
For me, and I don't know which ones are added and which ones are subtracted. So like, this is not coming from a place of the book. I don't like it when series have so many characters. I get whiplash when they're being talked about, and Game of Thrones did this to a certain degree, but then they started killing everyone off, and I was like, oh, okay, good, I have less people to remember. And Homestuck did that for a while, and then they started killing people off, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. And I guess that's what I mean, is they're not going to be killing anyone off. These bitches are here to stay.
I think
there's a lot of them.
I think the way it's going to end up, honestly, at least with the way they're going to record it, because this show, the first season is Daphne and Simon, with their characters that play with them. You're going to see, obviously, the 8 siblings. They're going to stay throughout the whole damn thing, because the whole series is about each of their love lives. But I do feel like the Featherington storyline makes sense. I get now, after reading a little bit more about the other books, why they added the Marina character. I don't think she was necessarily necessary. I get why they have her there, because they want to introduce Sir Philip, which is her husband.
Who is this?
The pregnant girl.
The pregnant girl who...
Oh, okay.
So the pregnant girl, I don't think she was necessarily necessary, because she really only played for Colin's sake in this series. But in the book, she's not even actually alive.
Yeah, it felt really weird. Like, initially she fit in really well. Like, okay, cool, this new girl coming in. Okay, she got some bit of a toot. I kind of like her. And then they just kept pushing her storyline away from the main characters. And it's really hard to pull off a C-plot correctly. And I don't think they executed it well. Her stuff just did not blend well with the rest of their story.
It felt very tacked on at the last minute.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
It, in my opinion, it very much felt like
predictable.
A, predictable. B, they realized that their main cast was super white and they wanted more diversity in it, and so they added on this character.
And I mean, I understand that they wanted
and then
to
they
add...
put her through hell.
I understand they wanted to add... Well, that's her story, though. I can't hate them for going through her story properly. Obviously, she did not fall for Colin. She actually fell for another man. That was her story.
Did she fall for him, though? Or was she...
She didn't try this with another man.
Okay.
She was with Sir George. Sir George dies, and she ends up marrying Sir Philip, which is George's brother.
Okay.
See, I don't like that they didn't have her go through with that. I really don't.
She did.
No, in the series.
She does.
She does.
She, at the very end...
She writes him and is like, hey,
I'm still
if you're
pregnant.
open to it, I will accept your marriage proposal.
Yeah, it's at the very end.
That's why she gets in
the last episode off early.
It's right before the baby's born.
Okay, yeah. I missed it.
Yeah, so
sorry.
She ends up with Sir Philip. The reason I understand why they they introduce this portion of the story is because when it comes to Eloise, I know we want her with Penelope, but she's gonna end up with Sir Philip, which is Marina's husband. That man is ugly too. I don't know.
It wasn't ugly.
Pause. Who is this?
The Pregos girl, her husband that she ends up marrying. Sorry.
No, I was gonna cut this part. I need clarity.
Okay.
So Prego girl ends up with the
Yeah.
With the dude, the soldier boy.
the brother's Soldier Boy brother.
Soldier Boy Part 2, got it.
So
Electric
Soldier Boy
Boogaloo.
Part 2, Prego dies.
Okay. So, I have a thought.
All right.
We're already screwing with some parts of the story here. Okay, then granted, they did Marina's story, accurate. Hear me out. Her and Prince Philip live happily ever after, thus freeing her. Thus freeing her from that narrative.
Okay.
Myra's like, I'm paying attention.
So, all I'm saying is if they're already going to kind of like take liberties here, there, and everywhere about what things happen and what things don't
What
happen,
characters exist, what characters don't exist.
what characters live, what characters die, and when those things happen, all I'm saying is putting a little bit of old...
I mean, technically that wouldn't be till like season 3 anyway. So, I mean, if they don't kill her off and she does have her 2 kids.
Lesbian Eloise.
Here's my
thank you, Jesus.
Here's my theory. In its full. I have one theory for this, and it's around the potential lesbians. Or at least by Ace rights. Whatever. We're going somewhere with them, and we're going fast.
Have you heard of LGBTQ plus? The question mark.
Hello, the Alphabet Mafia is taking them, and you cannot stop us. So here's my theory. The dude she's supposed to marry in the books lives happily ever after with his brother's baby mama. I ain't gonna question that. It's not wrong.
Well,
you can say however you
no.
can.
No. That was actually a really common thing.
I know. I don't care. This is how my brain is categorizing things, and you're gonna have to sit along for the ride.
Soldier Boy's baby mama.
Cool.
All right.
Soldier Boy Part 2.
Electric Boogaloo.
I didn't say that. So that happens, thus freeing up Eloise and the other girl.
Well, pulling up.
Shh. I can't handle this many names. I remembered Eloise, and it was not solid.
Okay.
So with the Eloise and the other girl are doing the thing, and they go off, and I lost my train of thought because I was trying to remember Penelope. I remembered it. Fuck.
You'll get it.
No. Okay. So the theory that all happens. Oh, I got it back. Okay, so that all happens, thus freeing up Eloise and the other girl to do their thing. And what happens is, the end of season 2, Lady Whistledown's life is in danger. And I mean, for real. She writes something, the queen is pissed, and the guard gets involved.
I mean, that's not unheard of.
Yeah, especially since we ended off this season with her already actively having someone on the case to find her.
Yeah, because she's pissed off
Yeah,
that she's not writing about her.
Yeah, she's already a little pissed off. All she has to do is make one tiny mistake, and then she has no choice but to run away together. She comes crying to Eloise, I don't know what to do. It's me. I'm gonna die at dawn tomorrow if nothing's done. And Eloise is just gonna have some like Mulan-esque haircut moment of like, all right, bitch, let's go.
I would be down with that.
I would love that. Because then Eloise is free to live her life as,
however she wants. Because she's
this little scholar. I would love to see. She's just like, I just want to go write a novel.
Yes.
She's very much a Jane Austen insert in this fake Jane Austen.
Yes.
And then
world.
they can steal orphan babies and they can have kids because what's her name's not gonna fucking do it. She's gonna rape her husband instead.
Can we talk about? Okay, let's talk about the rape scene.
So Jay, you don't know this. Me and Sam talked about this.
Mm-hmm.
The rape scene.
So for if you haven't watched the show, Daphne and Simon, slow burn doesn't last very long. They get together by like episode 4. 5, whatever.
Yeah, it's only 5 hours of slow burn.
It's 5 hours of slow burn, and then it's 3 hours of
And then it's 3 hours of get the fire extinguishers, get the fire department, keep putting it out. There's nothing left. There's embers. Keep doing it.
Okay, this is where my thirst comes in, because I enjoyed the
You
first
enjoyed
10...
borderline porno?
No.
Borderline?
I don't know.
After the 30-minute mark, it's no longer borderline.
That's fair.
You're just watching fucking Pornhub Lite.
Pornhub Regency era.
I enjoyed the first couple of minutes.
Alright.
As a story. I already
Listen.
told you, I am a thirsty motherfucker. I
are.
can't help it. I'm sorry, guys. I thirst for romance. And sometimes there's a lot of sex and romance. So,
Sometimes?
okay, a lot of the times. Fuck you.
There you go.
I believe that is the premise of the genre, yes.
Yes. But my thing is look, I've read some crazy shit.
We know.
You know.
The Wolf Boy.
Oh, but that was such a good one. Not Twilight.
No, she read a werewolf fanfic that was basically a novel, and it's exactly what you think it is, folks.
No, it's not. It has witches and it has adventure and they take down a evil wizard.
You tell me about this on our way to teach religious ed, by the way. Just to read you more to
Again,
Phil.
reading me to filth. I knew this episode. I knew it was coming, so I can't get mad.
She talks about the lead-in to the sex scene, where she's all like, "You can't tame me," and he grabs her, and he's like, "You're my mate," or whatever.
No. I was telling you about how he found out she was... No.
If you could see my face.
Okay, no. Sam is taking this completely out of context.
It doesn't matter. I know fanfics. I know where that's headed, and I know that that's the wording that they use.
That was not the wording they used.
Okay, so what am I, if I'm misremembering, what was the wording they used, Myra?
Said you're my bitch.
Oh, that's so much better. That's so much better. Thank you for clarifying.
But she walks away, he gets slapped by the main wizard and goes, "Bitch, you don't call her bitch. That's a disrespect."
You know what bitch means, right?
Yes, I know. She is his bitch, technically.
Yeah,
but
but
what am...
Okay, I changed my mind.
Did you get cold?
Is anyone else cold?
My legs are cold.
Are you cold?
It's starting to get cold again.
Okay, low. We will slow burn.
So,
I think that's the actual heat function. Otherwise, it's just like
yeah, just the light.
I don't know. Sure.
I
trust you.
But yes, I enjoy a good romance. But with TV shows, if the entire fucking episode is sex, it gets boring. Okay?
it's also not a good episode.
It's not. So I think episode 6 of this series...
Skip it.
I would not say skip it. Skip the first half of the episode.
Skip the first 30 minutes.
The third half.
Okay, skip the first 3 halves of the episode.
No, skip the first half, watch about 20 minutes, and then skip the rest. Because they do it again.
No, after the rape scene, they don't do it again.
Fine. Also, we should probably define what that means. It's
yes.
not...
Okay, in the show, it's not so much of a rape scene as it is a denial.
It is a rape scene. It's just, it's not in the traditional way that we know it. When people think a rape scene, they think force. They think a lot of
brutality.
Yeah, they think a lot of things. But what a rape scene is it's when your partner does something that you did not consent to, and consent can be given and taken away at will. So just because you say yes, and then like 20 minutes in, you're like, "Ooh, I have changed my mind," that is no longer a consensual situation.
Yes, and unfortunately in the show, Daphne does not follow those rules, and when Simon tries to take away consent, unfortunately, she does not allow it, and she continues to do what she wasn't supposed to do, which is have him
Father a child.
Yes.
Or attempt to.
In the book, unfortunately, it's a lot more. In the book, I would say it is rape.
Okay.
It would be. I would not say as far as the brutality, but there is zero consent. In the book, the way she, because in the show, after this scene, after the actions that she takes, she tells him that she realized he's lying to her. She didn't think he was lying to her, and this was her way to prove that he was lying to her. And then she says, you know what? We are separating. We are no longer going to be together. She makes that decision. In the book, they have sex. They are cuddling. They're doing their thing. At no point, this is still all consensual. They have sex. They, whatever. But like he's been doing, he pulls out and does his thing on the side. That's when she realizes what's going on. That he is not allowing his seed inside of her.
Yeah.
Best way to put it.
Which also, side note, the pull-out method is not, like, foolproof. So, they could have really easily rectified this by just sticking to science and not having to get consent involved.
Yes. But I think...
Go ahead,
I understand why they did it in the show the way they did it, because they didn't want to make it as brutal as it is in the book. In the book, she tells him, you've been lying to me, all of that whole scene.
That whole discussion.
After they had consensual sex. After that, she draws the line. She says, we're not sharing the same bed. He says, well, if we're not going to share the same bed, whatever. Yes, we are. No, we're not.
You know, the standard marital fight about that kind of.
So they split up. They have separate bedrooms. Simon comes into the home drunk because he's upset about the whole situation.
And we've seen him abuse alcohol before.
Yes. And so he comes home drunk and he goes to Daphne's room. Whilst in Daphne's room, he just asked for her to sleep with him. Not sexually, just in the bed.
Yeah.
They do, and when she wakes up, he's still asleep. At this point, she realizes that he's hard, and she takes advantage of that. Yeah. And she...
While he's still asleep,
rapes him. He actually wakes up as he's coming.
That is 100% rape. That is not alright.
And so, in the book, I prefer how they did it in the show, where there is still some line of consent, and there's a line where there's a point where he's like retracts consent instead of never giving consent to the situation at all.
Yeah, because I don't know, part of me agrees, part of me disagrees, because there's not a lot of conversation that people typically have around men being taken advantage of in this way.
Yes.
And part of me almost wishes that they would have included that in order to spur dialogue, because that is a thing that happens. And
no, I agree 100%. Yeah. I think a lot of people forget that men can be raped.
Yeah.
Yeah, rape isn't
specifically just for women.
Rape is not for a gender. Like that, rape is, as I said earlier, it is a retraction of consent that is not respected.
Yes.
And it's interesting, especially at this time period, because spousal rape or marital rape isn't acknowledged, period, at all. Like
marital, and we searched this up. Marital rape in the United States did not become an actual illegal thing until 1993.
No, 1990.
1990,
in
sorry.
1993, it became part of the, it became a human rights violation.
Yeah.
Oh, there
and
we go.
I was born by then.
So was I.
Yeah,
I was born in 1990.
Two of us were teetering tottering around.
I was born the year after that. Like,
yeah, you're the only kid that was born with that being a law in this room.
Yeah,
and that's fucked up.
Yeah, that's horrible.
To think that up until then,
up till 30 years ago. I mean, that's crazy. 30 years ago, it was okay for you to rape your husband or rape your wife.
It wasn't okay. The dialogue had started by 1970 in earnest.
Yeah.
But I mean,
correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't the 70s and 80s kind of the start of the sexual revolution?
yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's really when rape really started being more of an offense, more than just a misdemeanor. Because I think for a while there, rape even was just considered a misdemeanor, and it was not considered a major crime.
It took a long time for courts to realize that women are people and have rights.
And
it's this weird concept where consciousness does not, disappear because of what bits you have.
And no, I think it wasn't just women. I think it was just sexual crimes in general were not considered.
Sodomy is its separate thing and was a punishable offense.
Yes, but I'm saying sexual crimes.
That's what I'm saying. Sodomy is a sexual crime. It's butt rape.
Okay,
I'm
fine.
I'm going to take that out because it was not the right term. It's what
Google went. Hello. Okay. Well, fine. Take that out.
I'm gonna take it out because it's not the right wording. Oh my god. Is that what you call that?
But I mean, it was sexual crimes towards women mostly too. We're not.
I mean, we're just now getting into the discussion of men getting raped, and it's 2021.
Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, society in general does not like to talk about things that happen behind closed doors,
Especially in America.
Especially in America, particularly about rape or sexual crimes. People are scared of it, and I think a lot of it also, especially victims, is they feel re-victimized when they come out to a police officer or anybody like that, because unfortunately police officers are trained to try to be softer towards these crimes, but I think sometimes what happens is in questioning, the questions that you have to ask sometimes makes the victim feel like it's their fault, although they're just trying to get more information to be able to catch the
I mean, it's stuff like that, along with, because I have read up on stuff like this, especially in like college courses. It's stuff like that. It's stuff it's also the repetition of fact, because it's not, you don't just go through that traumatic experience, tell the cops, and then go home happy, healthy, okay?
No.
You tell the cops, they give you the choice to go to the hospital. You go to the hospital, well, you have to tell the nurses what happened, and they have to make their own documentation. And then you go home, and nothing in your life is the same anymore, so you have to tell someone. So you have to tell your partner or your parents, someone. You have to let them know you're not okay and why. And they know, and you, like, some people just don't understand boundaries, and they're gonna tell other people, or you might have to make a Facebook post being like, hey, I'm not gonna be around for a while, something happened. You're gonna eventually have to tell them, and it's going to be a defining thing about you for a while.
And not just that, I mean, I think a lot of it is too, is the repetition, but it's not just one interview.
That's what I'm saying.
You have multiple interviews with the police officers, and then you have the courts, and then you have the lawyers.
If it even gets that far.
I
mean, you have to relive it multiple times over.
And if it does get that far, if let's just say it gets to a Supreme Court, you have to answer to the lawyers. And then you have the cross-examination, which the cross-examination, the other attorney makes you feel like shit.
It's literally their job to prove that you're lying.
Yeah.
And the fact remains that only about out of the cases of rape that get reported, which is not even anywhere close to all of the cases that actually happen.
Yeah.
Only about 8% prove to be false claims.
Yep.
Yes.
But there's still this stigma of non-belief that surrounds any and all victims, especially of sexual assault.
And especially in marriage couples.
Right.
And
because... Oh, go ahead.
It's harder to prove rape when you're married.
Yes.
Than it is when it's outside of the marriage. And it's harder for men to come out and say, I have been raped. Not just because there's this whole mentality of man can be raped. unless it's another man. But there's also this mentality of, I have to be strong. This isn't happening to me.
Right. Like, and especially with marital rape, there was this long-standing idea of presumed consent once you were married. So it's like, that doesn't exist. So after this defining moment in the show, I hate Daphne. I hate Daphne after this.
Yeah, she has no way of redeeming herself after that at all.
And the show doesn't even try to redeem her. And it doesn't even vilify her in any real significant means.
This is what I don't like about the show. And like I said, I really like the show. I enjoyed the show. It's nothing against, but I don't like how they handled this particular after this scene, because in the book, Daphne realizes she did something wrong and she feels guilty about it. She does, and Daphne and Simon separate. Like, not just bedrooms, they separate houses. So, to me, I think it would have, I understand why they want to keep them together in the show, just to be this whole united thing, front, or whatever. But I think Daphne should have been more, should have felt or shown more remorse for what she had done, and not make Simon feel guilty because he has this huge trauma, which he tries to explain to her, and she's like,
I don't care about your family trauma.
And she doesn't even try to sympathize with him.
No. She, after this point, it really shows me that she is a fundamentally selfish person.
Yeah. And I guess, like, she had the perfect building blocks to kind of figure this out on her own, that maybe motherhood might not be the only end-all be-all, when she had that heart-to-heart with, what's her name, Eloise?
Eloise?
Yeah. Where they talked about how it was scary watching their mother give birth.
Yes.
Yeah.
She had the perfect building blocks to kind of maybe start to walk away from that, what's it called? A habit.
Persona?
No, a habit of generation.
Of thinking you need to have a child?
One word. It's...
Rhetoric?
No, like, it's a thing that people have done before you, so you do it now. But that's
tradition.
Thank you. She starts to try and walk away from this traditional... Like, she had the perfect building blocks to start walking away from that traditional mindset. You're fine. And instead, she doubles down and not only embraces it, but forces it to happen. And I feel like not just that, but he, in this situation, did everything right. He was willing to die for her that day so that she would not have to live through his life choices. And he was literally on the battlefield ready to die, explained his situation to her and told her to not go through with it because she would not be happy with him, and then got the shit end of a stick when she refused to listen. The only reason they are in this situation right now is because she thought she had a handle on something that she didn't. And
yes.
I cannot ever respect her again as a character because of the advantage she took of him. Like, not even just in marrying him, but in not continuing that conversation and not trying to understand before making such a big decision. Sorry, I'm done.
No, you're good. I think I'm going to build off of what you said. I think it would have been a lot better for her character if she had just become a mother to her lands, her village, because you see her start to interact with some of the village kids and some of the moms in the village, and she's excellent with them. She has all the building blocks to be an excellent mother.
I mean, does she?
I mean, maybe not anymore.
Anyway,
I think it would have been a much more a better opportunity for her character to develop had they just allowed her to become a mother to the people of her village. A patroness for the... Maybe start an orphanage. Rich people are always doing that in historical novels.
Or just fucking hide in your room for 9 months and then steal a baby from an orphanage.
Right.
Look, Mom, I had a baby.
Okay. So my take on this.
Mm-hmm.
Again, this is me comparing it to the book.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I think a lot of the issue I had is I agree with you on her building this building block into the community and being more active with her community, especially with her town that she and her husband are now governing.
Which they totally ignore. They dropped that plot line, which is
weird. In the book they don't, which I'm like, okay, but
in the show they're like,
they totally dropped it, which I mean, I know that technically they'll probably end up going back and whatever, but my one thing about this is they tried to redeem her in this rain scene and saying you can be loved and you don't have to be perfect. Let me finish.
I'm letting you finish.
But I think they did it wrong.
Okay.
I think the way that they should have they should have redeemed her the way she was redeemed in the show. Because the book, sorry. In the book, she realizes she did something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
She sends a letter to Simon apologizing and telling him that she's expecting, because at this point she thinks she's pregnant.
Uh-huh.
And Simon at that point realizes I need to be with her to support her.
Mm-hmm.
When they meet back up, she finds out she's not pregnant, but he's pissed off at her because he's like, bitch, you could kill our child, because she's riding a horse.
Uh-huh.
She's like, bitch, you're gonna kill our son. And she was like, well, I thought you didn't want a son. And he's like, I thought I didn't want a son, but I want something with you. And she, at that point, she says, what I want is I want you to want something for you. I don't want you to want it for your dad. Because at that point, she tells him, you're making decisions based on what your father did to you. Instead of you're not making decisions for what you want in life. If you don't want children, that's fine, but don't want them for you.
Yeah, don't not want children because your father wanted children for you.
Yes.
They have a it's your power Todoroki moment. That's
yes. And that would have been so good.
Yeah.
If they would have kept that scene, it would have been beautiful. Even if you would have done it in the rain.
Even if it was face to face, I think that scene would have been, that conversation would have been...
But no, they can't. It's too much communication. That's too much talking.
No, because literally the scene in the rain, I fucking hated.
I didn't get it.
It's her telling him you don't have to be
perfect. No, I
to
understand.
love.
I don't get it.
Because that wasn't the problem.
I don't know if that makes sense or not.
It made sense after a second. It took me a second. I think if they would have changed the lines to be what the lines were in the book, that scene would have redeemed Daphne. It would have made Simon realize that he was making a decision based on not what he wanted, but what his father wanted. And it would have made their reunion a lot better.
I just don't think, as written in the show, Daphne deserved any kind of redemption arc.
Can I segue real quick into my last point of the evening?
Sure.
The pull-out method is not a valid form of contraception and is not a safe way to have sex without having kids. And the fact that this show that actively has stated that it is targeting a younger demographic is toying that, I have just realized now, is kind of fucked up.
I mean, they didn't really have...
I don't care. The fact that they are active, and I don't care if it's accurate in the books. My point is they have stated specifically they're targeting a younger generation, and that method of quote-unquote birth control has not been valid since like modern science has been a thing. And the fact that they act like it is a perfectly viable option is kind of fucked up and is sending a negative message.
Right.
I agree with you on the negative message, but I would say based on on what they had available to them.
Yes.
At the time.
I understand that it's period accurate. I guess what I'm saying is since they're willing to tweak stuff from canon in the books to help fit to a younger demographic, they should have done something to also alter that sequence, because that is not a positive message to send to younger people.
No.
I agree.
And I mean, yes, they had like family planning methods, so like they because family planning has been around since I want to say the 1700s.
I don't know.
Question mark. It's been around for a long time. But families would not have sex during a woman's fertile period, her fertile window, especially if they were tight on funds, because obviously, when people are in love, they do want to have sex sometimes. I mean, if you're into that.
Side note: the first iteration of something akin to a condom was in 1564 in Europe. So
I think it was like pigskin.
I don't care. It existed.
Yeah, I mean,
Shape intestine?
Yep.
Something like that.
That's it. I wanted to make that point.
No, I agree. I mean, there was obviously other options to do that. They could have done it a lot better.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously there was a lot of things they could have done a lot better. I enjoyed the show.
I'm not hating on it. I didn't put two and two together until I sat here thinking about it for a minute, that they are actively targeting a younger audience, and all I'm saying is some dumbass whose parents taught them about as much as Daphne's been taught is gonna look at that and go, wow, look at that, they didn't get pregnant once, look at all that fucking they did in episode 6, they didn't get pregnant once.
See,
safety.
See, no, that's the kind of similar carelessness they took with 13 Reasons Why.
Yeah.
Oh, we don't have to get into that. Please don't get into that.
No.
No, we're not going to talk about that.
Oh, black hole.
But they ignored all of the guidelines for that kind of a subject. And
Now, talking about the sex scenes, I do want to appreciate the production team for having a sensitivity trainer and a sensuality? Intimacy.
Okay.
Intimacy trainer on set at all times to make sure that both actors were comfortable in the scenes and did not feel like they were being at any point sexually harassed.
Okay.
Good for them.
That was a really good move.
So
That's
impressive. I do have to applaud Netflix and their production team, and Miss Ryan. Shonda Rhimes, for having the forethought of having these people on set.
Right.
And they were not just in Daphne and
but every sex scene
within the show.
Wow.
They were present to make sure that all the actors felt comfortable, and at any point when they felt uncomfortable, they did have safe words to stop the scene.
That is really smart.
Okay, snaps.
Snaps for that. That's really good. Good job. Real quick, 210, and we still haven't done Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay.
The other reason I'm pointing out the times a little more often than normal is because the further we go, the longer it takes me to edit them.
Yep.
And this last week's episode, the raw was like 2 hours and 30 minutes, and it took me I worked on it last night for 1 hour, and then I woke up at 9 today and finished it at almost 4.
Okay.
So the more we talk, the more I have to work on it.
Okay.
That's fair.
The last couple of things I want to talk about is Lady Danbury.
What a boss ass bitch.
She is amazing. I'm really sad that she was not in the book more.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm sorry, that woman is a boss.
Powerhouse. A true matriarch.
She's a true matriarch.
Icon.
She's amazing. I hope that she is in season 2.
She better be.
Right?
Honestly.
She was one of the redeeming factors of this show.
She was great.
She added
Zero
so
complaints.
much to this show. She added so much dynamics to this show. She pushed Simon and Daphne to a point that you're like, snaps. Okay?
The plot literally would not be the same without her.
No, I am so glad that they kept her in the show. I'm so glad that they added her as an additional character. I mean, she is in the book, but she's not as permanent in the book, and I'm glad.
Prominent?
Yes. I'm glad that they added her. And the last little thing I just want to say, my favorite scene, and I think they did a magnificent job on it.
I'm so worried.
From the book, too, is when Daphne and Anthony are in the kitchen with their cold milk.
Oh, that was you got me. That was. I was like, the cold milk scene was pretty damn good. I wonder what she's gonna say though.
And the cold milk scene, because
that was good.
In the book, the way it's done in the book, I think they filmed it very well. In the book, Anthony's touching the stove going, it's cold. How do I turn it on? It's cold. And Daphne's like, why are you looking at me? I don't come in here.
These two dumbasses trying to figure out how to light a fucking stove.
And
honestly,
and when they say cold milk, yeah, refreshing for the summer. I'm like, oh, I'm so glad they kept that scene from the book, because
had they cheated us out of that, I would have been kind of mad.
I am so glad. I'm glad how it was filmed, because obviously in the book you have to touch the stove so it makes sense of what's going on. Yeah, but in the scene they're staring at it like, should we touch it? I don't think I want to touch it. What if it burns?
Which is totally valid too. Because
if you ain't never worked a stove, you don't know. All you know is that hot things come off of it. So like, it could be hot.
And then they're like, cold milk, cold milk.
Okay. Honestly, some of my favorite scenes were between the siblings and not between the suitors. Because there's more than a few scenes where it's Eloise. Is it Antony again? Or is it where she smokes? Who does she smoke with?
That's Benedict.
Okay. Eloise and Benedict smoking together is such a middle sibling vibe.
After we're done recording, I gotta show you something on YouTube.
I love it so much. It's true siblings where they're like, fuck you, here you go.
The dinners, like I gotta admit, that's one of the redeeming things about the show too, is the interactions they have as a family. It does not feel forced at all.
Real, like, obviously the writer had real siblings and a big family too.
With that being said,
hold on, but I'll cut this part out. It's chill. Okay, so there's this brand of yogurt. All I've ever wanted from a yogurt is to know who the cows are, and it fucking named all the cows at their farm that made the yogurt. Aww. And some fucking vegan goes, notice how they named all the cows traditionally girl names? There's a deep connection between misogyny and consuming animals. And the OP comes back with, I feel like yogurt from a bowl wouldn't taste quite right.
Oh!
I've seen that thread. It's magnificent.
Okay, so
Rotten Tomatoes.
Rotten Tomatoes. So obviously,
what's their score on Rotten Tomato?
So it's the average is a 90 from the critics and an 82 from the audience. So
that's not bad.
Not bad. Not certified fresh though.
Yeah.
Actually, no. I think season 1 was certified fresh. It's just the average score isn't certified fresh, which is weird.
Again, it's like The Boys. It's probably just the one season.
Yeah. Well, there is only one season currently
but
out.
no, what I mean is, since they're coming out with a second, you can't say the whole thing is certified fresh.
That's fair.
It's not complete yet.
Yeah, still baking. So this one is 3 stars from January of this year. Blinker F writes, it's like Gossip Girl had a baby and it dressed up like Pride and Prejudice, but everyone knows it belongs in Grey's Anatomy.
See, this is why I can't fucking relate. I don't know what any of those things are.
Go ahead. There were plenty of aspects that were enjoyable. There were plenty of aspects that were simply overdone, to take too seriously, but enjoyable. I think Blinker F hit it right on the head with the 3 stars. Gossip Girl meets Pride and Prejudice meets Grey's Anatomy. It's, a perfect review in my opinion.
I don't know what those things are, but I'm gonna agree.
Lots of sex for Grey's Anatomy. That's all you need to know.
I thought that was a doctor's show.
Yeah, they have sex in the OR. It's weird.
Oh, in the OR, in the break room, anywhere.
In the storage room where all the sharp containers are. You're like, what the fuck? It's dangerous.
I don't think that's how that works, man. Go ahead.
A 5-star review. Absolutely amazing. Must watch if you like Pride and Prejudice. Hot steamy version by Yurik K.
I mean, that's fair.
That's fair, but like you could just go to Pornhub and they'd probably have period accurate costumes too. I'm sorry I had to.
Well, you said it, not me.
I know you said it, not me.
That's fine. I don't care. If that's really the one thing that pulled you to this show, I'm sorry.
I mean, no,
but you must have loved episode 6.
Again, maybe a couple minutes.
Musk W from 5 days ago writes, with a 2-star review, overly contrived setting, predictable and uninventive storyline. Characters are fine actors, but their chemistry is lacking. Visually fun, otherwise fell flat on all counts.
That's fair. I feel like the main actress and the Duke had a little bit of a hard time initially getting into the honeymoon spirit, a little more than you would expect. Just because of the like chemistry they had. They definitely did passion well, but they did not do love well until a little later, and then it was a little too late.
Okay. Yeah, I agree.
This Stephen A, I have a bone to pick with you, sir, because this review is. What's wrong with his character? He hates his father so much he screws up any relationship for the rest of his life. Ellipse, just to spite his father.
I'm sorry, but Simon has rights to hate his dad. No person has a right to call you an idiot at 2 years old.
Clearly, this man doesn't have any family trauma.
Oh, not at all. What?
No.
Not at all.
Like, I'm sorry. Spite is a powerful tool. Hate even more so.
Ooh, yeah.
Simon has so many rights, and they did him so dirty.
They did him, as a character, especially after the marriage, they did him wrong in the show. Mm-hmm. In the book, not so much. In the show, I mean, she still did him dirty after, in certain scenes, and I'm not going to say no, but Simon's character is the most relatable in the show, to me. Because he has depth, and he has feelings, and he has things that you can connect with.
So you're wrong, sir. I'm sorry that this one review is kind of funny to me, because all these people giving it 5 stars, did we watch the same show, or like
move on? We've already talked about Pieces of Pie.
Yes.
So Julia T writes with a 5-star review, one of the best shows to come out in 2020, and very welcome as I was unable to escape any thought of COVID. Brilliant cast, there's plenty of humor, intrigue, drama, and romance. Where's season 2 already?
Okay, I can't hate on her for that.
No, I mean,
I won't.
I'm not gonna say. Are there certain things that she could? I like the show. I can't say shit.
Yeah,
it was my cup of tea. We talked about this. I was gonna be read to filth.
You were.
I don't care. I love me some slow burn. Give me a slow burn any fucking day.
You got your slow burn.
You got your slow burn. I mean, I handed you Lore Olympus and went, "Hey Myra, look, a slow burn."
Oh, don't get me started, because the new episode's probably up by now.
It is. I saw it.
Okay. Leah M.
I'm sorry.
With a 0.5-star review.
Oh, someone's on the wavelength.
I enjoyed this beloved book series and was looking forward to a faithful adaptation of the source material. Historical inaccuracies, casting, intentional anachronism?
Let me see.
Anachronism?
Anachronism.
And failure to capture any of the charm of the books make this adaptation impossible to stomach.
I can see where she comes from that. Because it's definitely...
It does, from what you've told us, it does not sound like a faithful adaptation from the book.
It does. It's not. I can't say it's a faithful adaptation to the book because it's not. They took a lot of liberties with the show, but they took liberties with permission of the author. The author was on set the entire filming. The author approved every liberty they took.
Yeah, and I guess this kind of backs something up from my perspective. I never necessarily trusted Netflix when they got a hold of the rights to Avatar, and in seeing this and hearing your talks about the original source material, I'm starting to wonder if if Brian Konietzko and the other guy, I'm sorry, I only remember one name.
We know James
left.
Or Jay isn't good with
names.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if they really did leave because of how many changes Netflix was trying to do. Because if they're willing to do that to this, I mean, I never trusted them to be faithful to begin with.
So Netflix, I don't think they're going to be 100% faithful. They're going to change something. I hope that
they're not doing it anymore. It's been canceled.
It's been canceled?
Oh, yeah, it's been canceled for a while.
Yeah,
I didn't know.
Because once the original creators left and they announced it on Twitter,
the entire Avatar: The Last Airbender community basically came up in strike and was like, "You will cancel or we will boycott you," almost as if they've been burned before by a bad adaptation. I don't know where they got that idea though.
And I mean, I agree with that. I would have hoped that the reason is not that. I mean, we did know that a lot of it had to do also with casting.
I mean, yeah,
and
rumored.
With this show in particular, I agree that it did not follow the adaptation to the T. They did pull a lot of scenes from the book, but for me, I personally enjoyed it. The Duke and I was not my favorite so far. I'm actually enjoying the second book a lot better than the first one, so I'm glad they took the liberties that they did with it. But again, the liberties that they took with this show were approved by the author on set.
Good.
She approved everything that was done. And she has come out and said she approved what was done. So you cannot get mad at an adaptation and say Netflix didn't follow it or the directors didn't follow it to the T and didn't follow the author's wishes.
No, but I can fault the author.
Yeah,
you can fault the author. I will give you that.
My main problem with adaptations is you don't have to have like a by the line adaptation for it to be a good adaptation.
Yeah.
I mean, Amazon Prime proved that with
The
Good
Boys.
Omens.
And Good Omens. Even with The Boys, because they took the...
The Boys was... They took so little.
From the comics, and they gave you a good show.
Yeah.
And with this show, I think the adaptation's a little bit better than the book.
Okay.
And, I mean, that comes with... It depends on how good the source material is in general. Like, if it's worth preserving the, like, integrity of the source material. And, like,
I mean, we've seen it with anything. Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, The Hunger Games.
You have your mother's eyes. Blink.
Blink, blink, blue, blink, blink.
I know, and they're supposed to be green!
Like, no, they were. They gave him contacts for that movie.
And then because
they took them off.
I know.
They took them off after the third movie. Like, the third movie, everybody's talking about his freaking green eyes. And then he never has green eyes again. And you're like, but Harry! And the fact that his scar moves, like, every other scene.
And the fact...
Don't get
Y'all were on that fucking show's production team for decades. Plural, and you still couldn't get the scar in the right place consistently.
Y'all.
It's like, I
I mean,
understand there
you
were
got-
shifting production teams and everything else, and
But you guys, you guys know Harry Potter's like my tea. I mean, you've seen my room, you've seen my decorations. I'm a fan. But I'm not gonna say the movies were perfect.
oh god, far from it.
I'm not gonna be like, oh my god, they're like amazing. They had issues. But I think
Especially the third one.
oh god, don't get me started. Don't
We're
get me
no,
started.
we are actually not touching this right now because if
we're
we do,
not.
we're gonna go down a fucking black hole.
But
Black
with
hole
this-
alert.
Back to this production. With this production, I think it was done very well. They took what was necessary from the book and they took out what was not necessary. There was, yes, my Invader Zim cup. It's actually really cool.
Sorry.
There were certain things that I think they should have brought back from the book because I think they sort of dumbed down Daphne in the show.
She's such a dumb bitch. Oh my god.
They dumbed her down, and in the book, she's so smart. She's so capable. And they dumbed her down. Not a lot. I'm not gonna say they totally dumbed her down, but
She has dumb bitch energy up one side and down the other.
they did Daphne and Simon dirty in this show.
Because, like, in reality, no family is going to be like, oh, you can marry a duke when you actively have a prince courting you. That would literally thrust the entire family up the social ladder so far. And no mom, realistically, in that era, would be like, I just want you to marry for love.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah, she also it seemed weird in that moment. She like her opinions on marriage felt like they like turned on a dime. Like she initially was like, you must marry up. You gotta do good. You gotta do all these marriage things. Go up in the world. I've trained you for this. To like marry for love.
But that's something that she from the very beginning, she did want her to move up the ladder, but she kept emphasizing that she did want her to have a happy marriage.
I guess what I'm saying is the emphasis from my perspective, the emphasis went from one side of the spectrum to the other a little more quickly than I would have anticipated. Like the emphasis.
Okay.
Not-
Yes.
Like it's like how you can be like, you have like a bunch of things to do that day. I'm gonna go to the store. I'm gonna get stuff, and then I'm gonna go see my friends. Okay, the other stuff is still there. You've still said it. You're still gonna do it, but the emphasis is on the thing you're most excited about.
Yes. No. Okay, I agree with
And
you.
like,
And the mom would have not been that sad if she thought she was marrying the prince. I am sorry. If she would have said, I'm getting married to the prince, or when she said, I'm engaged to the she wouldn't have said, oh, to the prince, you're gonna be a princess. She would have been like, oh my god, where's the fucking
I'm
crown?
going to be a queen mother.
Yeah, she would have been super excited that she's marrying a prince.
Right.
She would not have been like, oh, well, congratulations,
Well, good
hon.
job, honey.
And then she gets super excited about the Duke. I mean,
No.
I get that she wanted her daughter to have a love match at this point, but no. I think that was done wrong.
Ooh. Okay. I think that's a good place to stop.
Courts.
Look at us.
The court is in session.
Look at that.
I am not gonna lie to you. I didn't look into the fandom. I forgot that fandoms exist for shit like this, and I just showed up today. Myra, do you know anything about the fandom?
I will not lie to you. I have been so into actually reading the book that I did not go into fan fiction yet.
Yeah, that's fair. I will say this. Hold on. I'll let you go. I will say this. It is from the popularity of the Netflix series, the overall portion of the fandom seems very new blood and also seems more mainstream than fandom oriented. I haven't seen a lot of people who are super into fandom hyping up the show, and in looking for stuff to post about it, I didn't see any fan art. I didn't see anyone attempting cosplays. It's just a lot of people going, oh my god, look at how handsome.
Yeah, after scrolling through Twitter for 20 minutes,
you know what? Go ahead.
It seems mostly either young bloods who are absolutely just thirsting over the cast, or middle-aged moms who are just absolutely thirsting over the cast. So,
What's the show called?
Bridgerton?
Bridgerton.
Go ahead. I'm gonna look at. I'm gonna see if there's anything on.
So,
AO3.
Yeah.
I think as far as fandom goes, I think it is new blood. It's relatively new as a show. It came out a month ago.
That doesn't mean shit, though. 'cause-
However, I would be hard pressed to agree with that it's kind of small, because even the book series only on AO3 only has 200 and change fics.
Oh wow,
That's not a lot.
No,
That's
and I
really
mean the
small.
most recent book came out about 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say about 4 or 5 years ago. So it's still relatively newer series. I know the first book came out in 2000, but it's still,
See,
unless you're really into
that genre.
you wouldn't have read it.
Yeah, it's...
And the show doesn't even have a tag yet. So The Boys has 910 fics, though. I don't know if we talked about that last time.
Yeah, we did.
Okay,
We
well,
didn't
I don't know if we actually gave a number.
it was a B. I went to it. Yeah, no, the Bridgerton series doesn't even have a tag yet. So for the Netflix show.
So I think
I mean,
it's still relatively new. I don't think we're going to find out more about it till later.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's going to be too much. I think it's going to be more people thirsting over the cast.
yeah.
I think because of that, gonna have to give it a grade of like not applicable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did not show up for class.
Yeah,
As of now.
Yeah.
as of now.
It may change.
We're
don't know.
We're giving you a chance for extra credit. Show up next time we look into you, and maybe you'll get a better grade.
Yeah, 'cause-
or a grade at all.
Because, I mean, Netflix did announce that there is a season 2.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, this just...
we'll see what happens.
Yeah, it definitely didn't get a rousing response from the creative side of the internet.
Yeah.
Which is not entirely surprising, but also kind of surprising at the same time, because the show is so colorful that you would think the artists might be inspired to just mess around with it, but...
All right. Final
As-
thoughts?
As far as the show.
It's alright. It's okay. I was underwhelmed. I really liked the first half of the series, and then they got married, and then I hated it.
So, maybe?
If you're bored. If there's nothing else to watch.
If you've watched everything else on the internet.
If you've watched literally everything else on the internet, it's passable. You know what? If you want to hate watch something, this is the show to watch.
How do I put this?
It's not your flavor.
No. Had I not been on this program, I would not have watched it. I would have politely declined any advances on it. I would have dodged. I would have feigned sick. I would have done whatever I needed to get away from this thing. Not to say that it was bad entirely. I just can't stand these stories. I did not enjoy it. If you are like me and prefer stuff more on the actionable kind of side of things, just don't waste your time. Not to say that it was a waste of time, but I would like that time back. I'm going to give it a no on that basis. There's nothing wrong with it. I just found it very boring.
Little Miss Lovesick over there.
I enjoyed it. Is it perfect? No. Is it enjoyable for someone who enjoys a good romance? Yes. Stop.
I'm sorry. That was uncontrollable. That was my raw reaction, and I'm sorry.
Sorry.
On behalf of the anti-romance community, I'm sorry that you had to witness that. That was uncalled for.
It was
Look,
unwarranted.
you and I have different views of romance, and this is not
I
your
feel
kind
like
of
all
romance.
three of us have completely different views of romance.
Yes. For the kind of person that likes the slow burn with sex, there you go.
You're a horny motherfucker, and I love you for it. It's who you are.
We've established this from the minute you met me.
That's true. You went, I just want to get laid, and I went, oh, you.
That is not how we met, but okay.
No, once we started talking about that kind of thing.
Yeah,
that's
once
basically,
we got into, like, good confidants.
Yeah, once we established a rapport, you were like, I'm just so horny all of the time. And I'm like,
no.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for listening. Watch that, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Get the fuck out of this room.
Sam is just reading me to
Sam, go back to work.
She's just throwing all my
now.
dirty secrets out there. Shit. I'm just saying, if you enjoy a slow if you enjoy a slurp if you enjoy a slow burn with different than just a friendship romance, but more of a romance. I don't know how to put it. Like a sexual romance.
a steamy romance.
A steamy romance. Then
lust.
you. Okay. This is a good show for you. I think it's a good show. I can't say I wouldn't watch it again because I would.
You're watching it for the 4th time actively.
So, what's your grade?
Yes.
Okay. That was 1 yes, 1 and 1 no. So, take that for what you will. There's 3 levels to choose from. I think this one just boils down to personal preference.
Yeah.
If it sounds like it's up your alley, go for it. If it sounds like it's not, it's probably not.
There's a lot of sex.
You just skip episode 6.
Just skip episode 6.
Just skip it.
Unless that's your cup of tea. I'm just
saying there are websites for that.
I'm just giving people options.
There's episode sponsored by Pornhub.
Oh, what's
Don't
the one?
say that.
That's the one my brother and me does. This episode is sponsored by Extreme Restraints.
With that being said, I would say watch it at your own leisure. If you're the kind of person that enjoys a love story.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
If you do not enjoy a love story, I would not recommend this show for you.
Skip. All right. Without further ado.
2, 3, 2.
Courts are closed.
Yay.
Well, thanks for joining us, everybody. It's been real.
We'll see.
It's been fun.
We've had our facts.
We've
had our snacks.
We've had our snacks.
We said our facts.
We've told you if you should watch that.
You coward. Every time you wait to see where everyone else points. See you next time.
Yay.
Bye.
If you were a white maid, would you wish to be an engineer?
I wouldn't have to. I'd already be one.